So you want to get your model from whatever source you have into source. So if you're a mapper and you want some models from a place, you can't use them by default. You have to turn them into a .mdl format, which can be quite hard because there is not much documentation on how to do this. But don't worry, I will show you how to do this. So a friend of mine needed some help with a model, so I will show you how to do it here live. So first, of course, I'll enable screencast keys, but there we go. Remove the rest or the unimportant things, then you import your model, and then you go into shading tab to check. This is just for visual, like verification, just to see if it works. This doesn't actually do anything, but we go into our material path and we apply it to our materials, and this model has 2 of them, so you just have to do this for every single material you have. And once we have done that, we should have a visual representation of how the model will look in game. Now in this case, we have 2 materials that are using the same texture. Now this is a waste. You don't need to do this, so you can just remove the material. This will combine them into one material. It's going to make your life a bit easier. So rename this to something more descriptive, like coins. And the name of this is very important. The name of this is actually what the VMT name has to be for the material, so make sure that you remember this. And one more thing about scaling, a lot of models get this wrong, but the scale is not in 1 meter is 1 hammer unit pretty much. So if you want something to be a bit bigger, like let's say 10 times bigger, this will be 33 units long, not 33 meters. And you can't just export this, because when you export something, this thing turns into 1, 1, and 1, and that means that it doesn't get exported, so it will export with this original size. So to make sure that the size gets saved, you have to do Ctrl A and scale. And this will save the size. This means that it's permanent, you can't go back anymore, but it will only work for exporting. So then we export our model. Once we have our size and we have our material name correct, we export it to some place that we can access, and then we just close Blender. We don't need it anymore. We go to our files folder, rename this to gold, and now we need 3 files. We have 1 material, 1 QC, and 1 VTF. So let's make those. So this is going to be our VMT, and we named it coins in Blender, so this has to be coins as well. The second thing we need is the QC, and this is the VMT for the model pretty much, because a VTF isn't enough for a material in source. You need a QC, and the QC has all of the information that is used for compiling. So the name of this doesn't actually matter. You can name it whatever. But yeah, once you have this, you have these 3 main files, then you need to actually add the VTF, and the VTF is the actual material you have, so let's make that quickly. So there are two ways of making this. You can either, put your material into paint.net and save it as a VTF file. Now this only works if you have the VTF plugin, but the other way is of course using VTF edit. So we're gonna call this coins whatever. It doesn't matter what the name of this is actually, because it's specified in the VMT. So once this saves, we go into our VMT and don't virus scan it. We go into our material page in valvesoftware.com and we copy the example from the material. I'll put all of these links in the description, and then you just name the VMT base texture to the same thing that the VTF is called. So in this case it's called VTF, and this is the folder. And the folder is actually important because we want to put it in the right place. for our model. So we're gonna go into like materials, models, and I'll create a new folder called like my gold. Okay, so this means that we have to do models and my gold, and this will pretty much tell us where the material is, or where the VTF is. And you know, we can just do this, save, of course. We can move them here, and now we have our material. Good. Now we have to go into our QC, and just like with the VMT, we can copy an example from valvesoftware.com, paste it, rename the SMDs into the SMD you just made, so gold in this case, and do it for all of the SMDs. And once that is done, you have to make sure that the CD materials path is this. So in this case it's materials, models, my gold, and we only take the thing after materials, so my gold, models, my gold, like this. And this pretty much tells the model, like, look for the materials in this folder, otherwise it will not find it. And we had a surface prop. It doesn't matter, because the surface prop is defined in the QC, so you know, you don't have to worry about that. And in this case it's metal, which is pretty close to something, you know, golden, so we'll keep it. And I'll just rename this like my golden coins. And the path of this is like, I don't know, my first model. Be more creative than I am, but once this is done, you just need a tool called Crowbar to actually compile the QC and SMD into a model. So you use your QC thingy and take your, you know, QC and compile. And oh no, I forgot something. What did I forget? Line 9? There's something at line 9. Oh, it's hold, not gold. Whoops. But if we compile it again, we get something. Good. Now we should be able to just, I'll double check that we have, yep, we have our materials. We should be able to just, you know, see it in game now. So let's go into our Hammer++, because, you know, coolest thing on the market currently. We go into Hammer++, and we, you know, make some kind of platform to test this out, and we add a player for reference, and we add our prop static. And oh, one thing I forgot to say, but this model is using prop static. Now always use prop static if you can. If you can't use prop static, the reason usually is that it's animated. Animated models can't be prop static. But prop static models have better collision, they look better in game, and they're just, you know, less intensive for the renderer. And they're not considered edicts, so use them if you can. So just add your prosthetica and find your model you just made. So in this case it was called my golden coins. That's a previous attempt. My golden coins. Okay, so we have a problem. The material thing doesn't actually work. Now the reason for this actually might be that if we go into let's see, we go into materials, models, my gold. Let's see, there we go, my gold, and there's coins, and coins were there. And I think I fucked up the naming. Oh yeah, there we go. I did fuck it up. It's my underscore gold, not my gold. And you know, get rid of that, and now it should work. Now we just need to restart our, actually I'll save this as something example, and I'll just open it up in the, actually I have to close Hammer for this. Yeah, materials don't get reset if you change them in while Hammer is open. So you go to whatever, where you put your EMF, and we should have a textured pile of gold, and we don't have a textured pile of gold. Now why might that be? Now another thing you have to watch about models is that the file, let's see, what did I do wrong? my goal, oh right, forgot. Yeah, the QC CD materials pass has to be, you know, this, or it won't work. So make sure that that's done, and now if we recompile our model, we should finally get something that works, and it disappears. And why did it disappear? Because the material changed, and you know, Hammer hates when the materials change. So, you know, restart the good old Hammer and open up your example. And now if things are good, we still have a invisible material, but okay, now I know why the reason is. If you still have this problem where it's invisible, then you just have to change this to vertex with generic. The light map generic thing only works for brushes, so you have to use this. Or you could use unlit generic, and this means it's full bright. The model gets no lighting information, it's just glowing pretty much. So once you have this done, now you should finally be, you know, third time is the charm, right? That's what they say. And now you should be able to just see the model if things go well. And there we go. That was the problem. And good thing that I forgot to do those, because, you know, troubleshooting. But now you have your model, and if we check the size, it should be, you know, it's not in meters, it's in hammer units. Remember that. And yeah, then we just can play with our model, do some cool things with it, and, you know, see what happens. Does this actually work? Let's see, this is a new thing, and yeah, it does work. So you can do cool things. So just, you know, be creative on your mapping journey and try stuff. Try making a, you know, something that nobody has ever done before. Like, be creative. But that is for this tutorial. Hope you got something useful out of it, and good luck on your mapping journey.